Welcome all to my podcast, Zone 2 Talk. Had a great weekend at Herredslev in Denmark. Um, the place was beautiful with summer house on one side and water body on the other. It was a sunny weekend, so we could enjoy the time in the beach, or as Danish people call it, strand. Um, I was out with my family and friends, and we did play some card games. The name of the card game is called Least Count. You can Google the rules in case you want to spend some quality time with your friends. After that, we did a quick visit to Sonderjylland, which is nothing but south of Denmark. There is this beautiful place called Sønderborg, or if you literally try to read it, it's called Sonderborg. Um, it's an amazing place. My wife lived there for 2 years, so I used to visit it quite frequently, and the landscapes are just breathtaking. If you guys want to visit Denmark and planning where to go, I would recommend Sønderborg as one of the place to visit. So that's how my weekend was. It was quite relaxed and fun. But now let me dive into today's reflection point. The topic I want to talk today is on certifications and mainly certifications within information technology. The reason I want to do that is because I've been working in IT or information technology for the last 12 years. And over these 12 years, I have seen a need to upgrade my skills as well as my knowledge. And to do that, there are many ways to upgrade your knowledge. One could be by reading articles, by following certain websites, or following YouTube channels. And the other way is by enrolling into a certification course, giving a certification exam, and then getting the certificates at the end. Um, what I've read in one of the articles, which was quite interesting, is by 2028, the cybersecurity certification industry would be a $8 billion worth industry. That's a big number. And I was wondering, is it turning out to be a money making industry, or is it something that is actually providing value to the people? I mean, we can dive into that as I talk along. But let me give some background on some of the certifications that I have achieved over the last few years. Some of the key certifications would be CISSP. It's called Certified Information Systems Professional. It's a highly reputed course within the cybersecurity industry. And the second one, which I'm quite proud of, is SAPSA. It's Sherwood Applied Business Security Architect. And then there are a few Azure certifications like AZ 500 and Introduction to Azure that have been quite a few that I've done over the last few years. And there are more to this, like I've done Scrum and other certifications. But the point here is, has it been worth it? The time, energy that has been invested in this, has that given me benefits, is what I want to share. And before we go into that, what I want to start here would be purpose is key before you get into any certification. There could be different purposes which could motivate people to enroll into certification. It could be knowledge upgrade. It could be searching for a better job. It could be searching for a better salary. Showing off in LinkedIn could be one of the reasons. Just because my colleague did it I want to do it could be another reason. And there are certain job requirements that mandates you to have certificates so that you can sell yourself to the client, or you can get some value propositions out in the market. And there could be many more motivations for opting for a certification. However, I feel unless you get a chance to apply that knowledge in the area you're working, the certification knowledge evaporates from the brain and it's just a waste of time. This is my personal experience. When I started the CISSP journey, it I had to give a dedicated amount of, let's say, 2 to 3 hours for 2 months period of time. And this is like spending less time with your young ones, spending less time with your wife or your family members, and dedicating some amount of time to get the certification. So in return, I was expecting certain things um, that could help me benefit my career, that could help me benefit the knowledge within the cybersecurity area. And there has been, I mean, there is a balance here that I want to share. There are pros and cons of doing certification. So one of the thought that came to my mind was, am I collecting a badge, or am I learning something that will stick with me for a long time? If I have to jump into this, like if I have to break this down, am I collecting a badge? I would say there is a huge dopamine hit when you see the words like successfully completed the certification. So when I gave the exam for CISSP and I got this successfully completed the certification, I was on cloud nine because it was all the hard work of 2 months and dedication that I spent on this course that finally I could achieve. I thought my life has changed. This is just the reflection I had when I just finished the exam. I thought my life has changed. It's a big thing to clear CISSP. However, after a few days, nothing much changed. Again, I didn't post it on LinkedIn or these things, but in like I was just reflecting on what has changed after this. Um, nothing major changes happened in my life. And then I thought of getting that dopamine hit again. So I thought, should I do another certification? And then I had to like pause and reflect. Is it worth the time and energy? Or am I contributing something meaningful here to the team or to the organization? I also see when I open my LinkedIn, I see a lot of people saying, I completed my certification, kudos, and share it. There are times wherein it's just my whole feed is full of people completing certifications. On some level, there is a dopamine angle to this, and people are on this roller coaster ride of getting likes and kudos from others and being visible. There's also this angle that you want to show that you have learned some new skills. There is nothing wrong with this mindset. Um, but on the other hand, um, when I reflect, like this was like my view on the badge collection aspect, but now I want to talk on the knowledge gain aspect. So when I did the CISSP or the SAPSA training, the one thing that changed in me was my thought process. Even though when I said nothing changed, like few days passed and nothing changed after I got my CISSP, nothing changed in terms of monetary perspective, and nothing changed significantly in terms of my work that I do in my day-to-day job, but there was a slight change in my thought process. It's difficult for me to quantify or put a value to it, but now when I hear the CEO of a company or when I read in an article about the mission and vision of the company, I relate a lot to these words because I learned these things, how important a mission or a vision of a company is to its strategy, to its operations, to its tactical visions. These were some of the things that I learned on my SAPSA and in my CSSP training. And now, when I'm reading those terms or reading those statements, I look at it differently. I can comprehend what the company is trying to emphasize. I can try to relate more to those words or to those statements and try to understand the big picture, which I didn't do before I had these certifications. But these things I could not share it on the LinkedIn, or I could not express these in return for likes or dopamine hits, because these are some of the changes that I could see in my thought process. There is no value, or there's no huge changes that happen to my daily work life. So, what I want to say here is, for all those people who want to pursue certifications in IT, I think it's very important if the purpose is very clear. If the purpose is just to collect a badge and show them over LinkedIn or show them over social media, that's not something um, that resonates with me. I feel that the knowledge is not reflected by the amount of badges you collect. The the brain is the knowledge doesn't stay in the brain and it evaporates easily. But if the purpose is truly to understand or to grow or build a foundation that sticks with you and changes the way you think or approach a problem, I would say that then then the knowledge that you gain out of a certification will be truly worth it. And that's what I want to leave you with. The next time you're thinking about a certification, you can ask yourself, am I collecting a badge or am I building a knowledge that will stay with me for years to come? Now that we have completed that section, I wanted to share something thought evoking or could be trivial. So here it goes. My wife and I did visit our friend's place for a dinner, and they made a dish that had a higher heat content or a spice content, you would say. And then over the course of dinner, we discussed how Indians have a higher tolerance to eat spicy food or hot food. And our friends assume that we are accustomed to it and we eat a lot of hot dishes or spicy dishes with a lot of chilies in it. And then what ended up happening is I had to tell them that, hey guys, if you know, chilies are not native to Indians. Chilies were introduced to India maybe in the 16th or 17th century by Portuguese traders or invaders. Prior to that, we only used to have black pepper in our dishes. And black pepper, if you have had it, is not the spice content of it is not as intense as you get in some of these chilies, which was a surprise to my friends. And then I had to reflect and think, okay, is this something that is not known to a lot of people and is like had to be shared, even though it's mentioned in Wikipedia? But sometimes people assume that certain food comes from certain part of the country or certain part of the world. So yeah, that was the trivial or the interesting part that I wanted to share with you. With that note, thanks again for listening with me. on this podcast. And by the way, the next podcast, we will change it a bit. We will have a video content wherein I have invited a guest who is close to me, who has been my trainer, and we will expect to have a lot of discussion on martial arts and life in general. But I'm super excited for it. So, coming soon. Stay tuned. In the meantime, as always, thanks in Danish, tak, and Jai Hind.